Sorry. You hit the button and I was like, wait a minute. I don't have my fidgety knife out of my pocket yet. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Dylan Talks Tone Q&A that we do every Thursday night. Like, every Thursday night. For many years now. Like 5.
That's a lot of years.
It's been a lot. Yeah. 6 maybe.
I was literally thinking on the way in here, like, can I get demoted to like once a month?
No. No. You cannot.
I never got a raise, so can I just be demoted?
I'm giving you a raise. Giving you a raise. Welcome to the Q&A. What we do here is we answer questions about guitar stuff. If you want to guarantee that you get your questions answered, you can join Patreon or be a YouTube member, the little button down there. And I make a post every Thursday morning, and you get to ask your questions ahead of time. That way, if you miss the stream or whatever, we're going to put them up on the screen. We're going to talk about them. We're going to answer them. And then we're going to talk about also our topic tonight that you saw in the thumbnail, because that is actually the subject of one of our questions. If you have guitar questions, you can get in the chat right over here, and you can ask as many questions as you want. Put a bunch of question marks in front of them so that Leslie can find them. If you want us to drop what we're doing and answer your question right away, you can use a super chat. Sometimes we have so many questions, and we have a lot of Patreon questions tonight. So sometimes we have so many questions that we don't get to them all. So if you want your question answered for sure, use a super chat or go to Patreon.
Use a super chat like this.
Like Tony just did.
Thank you for the super chat, Tony Leonardi. He says, good evening, Leslie and Dylan.
Good evening, Tony Leonardi. Thank you for the super chat,
That's
sir.
very nice.
I appreciate
Kicking it off.
He didn't even use all the words.
However many characters you're allowed.
Right. So, we probably... Oh, and I have a couple cool things to show you during the off-topic hour that starts at 9 o'clock. And I should tell you, did I post a picture? Yeah, I posted a picture on Instagram and on Facebook that we're starting. We've got, what do we got over there? 5 sets worth of bobbins wound of the 20 special editions. And so we're working on that. Those 5 sets are going to get shipped next week, I would imagine, as we work on that stuff. I'm going to actually work on them tomorrow too. So we might get a set or 2 out tomorrow. We'll see. Yeah. So pretty exciting that stuff is starting to go down. I was aiming for the first week of December to start shipping that stuff, and that is right about what's going to happen. So very super cool. Yeah. Awesome.
So I have no context, so I don't know how to pronounce it. It either says Super Lead or Super Lead 100. It says, Leslie, you can track quiet quitting instead. Because you know that's all the corporate-y term stuff right now.
Quiet quitting,
Quiet
super lead.
quitting.
Super lead.
You think it's Super Lead?
Yeah, it's an amp.
Oh,
Marshall.
see, I wouldn't have known that.
That's a Marshall amp.
Well, he's here, so it's probably right.
Excellent.
Is it 100 watts too?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
It is.
I just learned something.
You did.
Curtis Chavez says, hey, y'all, how do so many of you beat me here from TTG?
Because they went overtime. That's
We had
why.
to cut them off.
Yeah, we had to cut them off.
Or we wouldn't have been on time.
Les is like, do you want to cut them off so we can start our live stream? I was like, yeah, we will. I'm actually making a bunch of stuff for them, too. They're Black Friday, so I think they sold a bunch of guitars, and now they need a bunch of pickups. So we're making some DAFs for them, and we're making some P90s for them. I've got those wound already, sitting over there. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff. Yeah. Well, we should probably get in. Look at all. There's a lot.
I'm ready.
So let's go ahead and
I'm ready for you to answer all the questions.
Let's do it.
Charles. Hello, Leslie and Dylan. I have a class tonight and will not be able to make the live stream because I have a class. Thank you for hanging out with us. We'll catch the replay.
Thanks, Charles. I guess that wasn't a question.
It's not a question, but good to know where he's at. And
Yep.
I wonder what kind of class he's in. That's fun.
I bet
Learning
it has to
is
do.
fun.
I bet it has to do with mechanic-y stuff.
Maybe. Going to interrupt the Patreon
Excellent.
questions for a super chat from Sunbase. Thank you for the super chat. It says DigiKey carries Remington magnet wire in 40, 41, 42, 42 and a half, 43, and 44 gauge in enamel, polyurethane, and polyester coatings and different coating thickness. Any issues using this over other brands?
Remington actually doesn't use, well, they do. Remington wire is rebranded other brand of wire, but it's good. It is definitely good. I have never had a problem with their stuff. In fact, I just ordered from them because I needed to fill in a gap. I have a whole nother supplier that I get my stuff from, but every once in a while, like I have to order like 30, 50 pounds at a time from my other supplier. And sometimes I'll need a 5-pound roll of something special for something. And every once in a while I'll order from Remington, which DigiKey sells Remington stuff. And it's pretty good. I've had roll winding issues with Remington before, but overall you'll be just fine. And chances are you're going to, I'm not saying that you don't do too much, but you're probably not ordering 50 pounds at a time, and you're probably not ordering 10-pound rolls, and you're probably, so if you order a 1 pound or a 1 pound or a half a pound roll to do 10 or 15 pickups, you'll probably be just fine. It's quality stuff.
Zoltan. Hey, Leslie and Dylan. Will AI someday be able to make cheap, muddy pickups sound articulate like it can already convincingly fix or upgrade mediocre pictures? For now, except where brutal effects are applied, even the best digital gear needs the original signal to be crisp. And I sort of hope it stays that way.
I think in theory that, it's garbage in, garbage out, right? Or, good stuff in, good stuff out. But I think the virtual world is going to get so good that it is going to become indistinguishable at some point.
That was it?
That was it.
Zoltan messaged me today.
Did he?
With a screenshot where he said Facebook was making connections because he got an ad for my work on his Facebook.
Oh, really?
Yes. Like, that's pretty cool, actually.
He's going to be in the States next week.
I see him sometime too, but they send us messages at work when they're doing like sponsored campaigns, and they're like, "Do not click on them."
Oh. Yeah, because they have to pay for
they
those
must
clicks.
be pay per click.
Yeah. I've got 2 sets of pickups for Zoltan right here, but I'm not shipping them yet because we have to
tell you
we have
where?
to time it. No, I got it. It's
Oh.
it's his hotel. He's in the States next week. So, but I've got to time it right so that it gets there.
Is he in a cold state or a warm state?
He is in a cold state. I will tell you after. Yeah.
All right. Rob F. Hello, Leslie and Dylan. No question tonight, just a big thank you.
A big.
Big.
Not loud.
Screaming.
Not
no,
loud.
he
Big.
he lauded it.
Oh, he lauded it because he's, yeah, okay. Gotcha. See, I'm not a professional. I don't
He lauded
know
it.
this professional typing jazz.
It's not jazz. Definitely not jazz. I feel like if jazz were words, it'd be like Yoda. Like Yoda, like not make sense, like be in the wrong order.
Oh, yeah.
Just a little funky,
Right? Yeah. Like Yoda. Where it makes sense once you understand
Yes.
the cadence and everything of it, but
Yeah.
until then, you're like, what the heck is happening right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yoda is verbal jazz. That's pretty funny. This is not something I thought we were going to talk about tonight, but okay.
Mr. Goat. Hi, guys. Any tips for pickup installation as far as making sure the pickup stays flat when adjusting the height to where it needs to be? I seem to fight the pickup slanting way too often, so there must be a better way. Much love. We can talk about that after hours. That
Oh, why we're
reaction.
laughing to what we're laughing at?
Yes.
Okay, so pickup slant is probably to do more with pickup wire routing underneath, the depth of your pickup cavities, and or the width. Maybe it's hanging up on one side or the other, like it's touching the body on the inside. Sometimes humbuckers, for example, on the inside of a Les Paul, I dealt with this when I put pickups in my Les Paul last week, that they just kind of rub just a little bit and it holds them a little bit funky. Also, if you use rubber instead of springs, sometimes the angle of the cut will hold them off a little bit crazy too. Those are a couple things.
Matt. Hello, Leslie and Dylan. I have a PRS Core Custom 22 with 5708 pickups. I have adjusted the neck pickup every way I can think of, including adjusting the poles, but no matter what I do, it sounds muddy. It is almost like the tone pot is turned way down. It is not. Bridge sounds fine, and bridge with neck split sounds good. Have you messed with this set of pickups before? Any ideas? Might put the Damascus DAF set in this guitar if I can't make it better.
You should just do that. That would be sick. And post a picture in the Facebook group because I want to see that. I wonder if something goofy is wired funny, because I don't know why it would do that, really. I wonder if you've got a short, because they've got a little capacitor in there, so maybe that thing's messed up. Maybe your volume mod. Oh, check your volume, because it'll have a treble bleed probably. Make sure that the treble bleed on the volume for that pickup is not touching anything it's not supposed to be touching. I would start, because that will then short a capacitor, which will then bleed off highs. So maybe that's a thing. But I think you should just put those other pickups in it. That'd be cool. Okay.
Okay. Nick. Hi, Leslie and Dylan. Hope I didn't miss the cutoff.
Nope.
You did. Also, hope you enjoyed the theater. Did you post about that?
I said something about it on Tuesday because I was like, I have to go because I'm going to a play.
I have to go.
Yeah.
I swapped the cover from the Super 8 to the center punch, and as you advised, lost some of the wax. Hopefully not too much. If I have lost too much, how will I know? Squealing and feedback? Can I simply put them back in a bath of hot wax if it's a problem? How do you stop the liquid wax from running out of the pickup while it cools and solidifies? Thanks in advance.
You don't. You actually pour out as much as going to come out, and enough will stay in there. But all the things that you said are exactly correct. Your assumptions are correct. It'll squeal and feedback, and if it does not, and so the other thing too is like if you tap on it, and it sounds like that through your whole guitar, like it sounds super hollow sounding, then that's also a microphonic pickup, even if it doesn't squeal. So make sure that you check that, but if you have to, then yeah, put it in hot wax. You can just drip wax into it. You could just take a candle and put it on the bottom of the pickup and take a blow dryer or something hot, like even like a soldering iron, and just melt it and let it run in there if you don't have a wax pot or don't want to waste a crock pot on that. Because you'll ruin a crock pot. You'll never be able to use it again for anything else.
Just wax.
Just wax.
Super chat from Doc Siltonen. Thank you for the super chat, Doc. He says, okay, someone who's good with AI needs to make a video of Yoda singing jazz. It says today, but he said he meant Yoda.
Oh.
Of Yoda singing jazz.
I get that.
That's pretty funny. Somebody could do that.
Somebody could do that.
Thank you for the super chat. Oh, I lost my place. All right. Is that it? No.
Ooh.
Jeez.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Robert. Hello, Leslie and Dylan. I've been playing the Smoothie and Super 8 with different amps and speaker combination for a few weeks. They sound great with all of them. Both are aptly named. I'll
Excellent.
send in a review shortly. The Smoothie gets revealed at rehearsal tonight. Thanks for everything. I'll catch up tomorrow.
Awesome.
That is fun.
We don't sell too many. I just actually sent one of those to Mr. Goat today. We don't make too many of those, and they're a really neat pickup. They don't have as much crystal clear on the top. That's why we call it that. It's a dumb name. I need to change it to something else, but
He said they're aptly named.
well, they do. It does make sense because I named it for how it was sounded. This was before all the engine stuff, so maybe we'll leave it.
Maybe that's the OG version.
Maybe.
Patrick. Dylan, do you think your Firebird pickups would fit fine in an Epiphone Firebird guitar?
I do. We sell them for that purpose quite often.
Rusty Fender said, "Hola, senor."
Hey,
oh,
Rusty.
Mr. Goat said hola first. Oh, maybe he was saying hello to him. Anyway, I just got involved in a conversation. Probably wasn't me. Oh, well.
Butted right in.
Here we go. Dawn. This still has to be Doc, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm like, nobody else does this, do they? Dawn. Happy National Mason Jar Date, Dylan and Leslie. Dylan, have you seen the recent Paul Davids video featuring a 1950 Broadcaster and a 1959 Les Paul? I'm going to say if so, what are your thoughts? Not about the value or perceived value of the instruments, but on the difference in the sound. If the CC number 4 Les Paul is supposed to be as good as it gets for new, I have no idea. Is the should different, attributable to the pickups alone, or is there more to the story? Let's just focus on the big words in the actual question.
So I watched this video, and obviously I don't get to hear because I'm not in the room. He didn't really mic anything up or anything. I didn't get to hear the difference between the two guitars. He obviously felt there was a difference between the two guitars, and I'm sure there was. Methods and etc. of pickups, age of pickups, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I am sure that those guitars sound different. I think that...
Oh, that whole word should have been sound, he said. Is
Oh.
the sound difference attributable to the pickups alone? That makes
I
way
think
more
there's probably a lot going on between those two guitars. You have to think too, okay? It's not just about... This is something I don't think a lot of people think about. When you're doing an A/B test with a guitar, and this is why I think they're dumb and why I don't often do them. And also, this is why I play exactly the same thing in every video, to try to get this as close as possible. He said in that video that the guitars felt completely differently, and that the new one played way better, and it was easier to play. On that alone, the guitar is going to sound different because he's interacting with it physically different. The pickups probably do sound different because you can't duplicate age as accurately as people think that you can. Once the pickups are different, that amp acts differently. It's not just about the frequency response of the pickups, it's about how it interacts with the amp too. And I think there's just so many factors in those types of, and he didn't give it like a, I'm going to sit down and figure out all the sonic differences. He was just like, oh wow, yeah, they're definitely different. If you were to sit down and think about it, you'd probably go, okay, he's playing into a Marshall, I think, like a Plexi. And so basically you would have to sit down and think about what the differences in the sound actually were and work backwards. The amp's going to sound different because the pickups hit it different. The pickups hit it different because they were not wound the same way. I don't care what anybody says. Those 50s pickups cannot be duplicated. There's no way to duplicate them. The materials are different. The way they wind them is different. And the minutia that you get into to make them the same is actually technically impossible. It just doesn't make sense. So I am positive that those guitars sounded different, but I think there's more to it than just, I think playing them different is the biggest thing. The very first thing he said, the very first words out of his mouth were they play completely different. This new one plays way better. Right there, I'm like, okay, A/B test is over. Yeah. And I think, so you can take that down if you want. In fact, Don and I were talking about the other day, and this is what made me come up with this thumbnail for today. Don and I were actually talking about this the other day, that he went and played a mid-60s Firebird and said it wasn't as good as the one that he built because it didn't play as good. And, I mean, when you have an organic thing, when you have a piece of wood that has been exposed to, you know what? We missed a question. There's no question from Shane in here. I must have missed it. We'll get to it because what I'm about to say just reminded me of it. When you have an organic piece of material that is a wooden guitar, it does not stay the same for 70 years. Like it's not the same anymore. And so that doesn't mean that the tone is going to change because the woo-woo of everything. It's because the guitar is not the same shape anymore. So you have to worry about setup. You have to worry about frets. You have to worry about all this stuff. And not every guitar is even playable after 70 years. Like, most of them aren't. And so to get them to a spot where you can, A, even play them, typically is a lot of work. And B, if we took a 1963 Telecaster that was underneath somebody's bed for however many years and played it next to that one, because that one is a 63 Telecaster remade this year, they would sound different because you could not play them the same. They would not be the same. There's just too many variables in interaction between instruments. That's why I think a lot of comparison with this stuff. Somebody said to me today in a comment on YouTube, and they were like, your attitude about all this takes all the fun out of playing guitar. And I understand his point, because sometimes nerding about this stuff is the fun. But the problem is that people assign too much finality to what they say about this stuff when really it's just, there's no reason. There's no real reason. Like, there's no reason to put a reason on why those two Les Pauls in that video sounded different. Why? Why do we even need to worry about it? Like, they both sounded great. And you can't afford $350,000 for the guitar anyway, because that's what a 59 Les Paul goes for. So, does it matter that it's better? Because what are you going to do? Just like wish you had it all the time and like envy somebody else's guitar when really you should just play the one you have and you sound better? Like, in that situation, because that's a really extreme situation. But I think a lot of vintage guitars are honestly not that great. And one of the things in the Paul David video was he was very taken by the fact that he was playing those guitars. There was an emotional,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Which is me too. I played Joe Bonamassa's 1960 before, and it was amazing. And I played a 59 Burst. I've played $100,000 Martins. I've played really, really cool guitars. And you do kind of get like, wow, this is really cool. But I was just watching Blackberry Smoke dude yesterday on the Gibson video where Mark Ignacy was going through his guitar collection. And he was talking about playing a 1959 Burst on a live show. And he's like, it made me so nervous. Like, it just made me he's like, I couldn't really play very well. Like, it made such an impression.
Got in his head.
Yes, that it got in his head. And that's kind of, I know people get on my case for quote unquote not caring about any of this stuff, but that's why. To try to take more of an agnostic approach to all of this stuff, you almost have to like separate yourself from the, if I get to play a really cool guitar, I'm like, this is a really cool guitar, but it's just a friggin' old guitar. Right? I have to think like that. Otherwise you get caught up in the moment and then you fall into this marketing voodoo that doesn't exist, and I don't want to do that because that's not how I roll. So it's a weird thing to separate the emotion of the experience of the instrument from what it actually sounds like and the pragmatic differences between the instruments. I think they get kind of foggy, which is fun and cool, but for the technical side of it, I don't think it's fair to do that because you're so emotionally wrapped in it.
Yeah. Doc said my thought when you were talking about that. He said, I wouldn't spend $350K on any guitar, period, regardless of can or can't.
Yeah. No, me either. If I had 350, I mean, how many trips could you go on for $350,000? I could probably do my whole fly around the world Formula One deal.
MRO said 1/1000th of an inch. Did you see the video? Makes you wonder. Is that the same video?
I did not see that part. I kind of scanned through it, to tell you the truth, because it was really long, and I was really busy, so I was just trying to get to the key parts of his impressions of the guitars and stuff, if that makes sense.
Haas says if they moved a chair, the feng shui changed the tone too.
I mean, if you sit different, if the neck is different, if the frets are different, if the setup is at all different, if anything like that is different, the guitar is going to play different and you're going to sound different. I mean, or you're going to hear it differently. And also, totally resonant, bro, if the instrument vibrates in your lap, you're going to hear it differently too, because of how your ear works. And the person that's sitting there playing the guitar is going to hear the differences in it differently than a person from across the room, because he's holding it and the vibrations are screwing with his inner ear. His middle ear, actually. So, yeah. The question that I missed, Shane, I literally, they got out of order, and I was like counting and making sure, and I was like, I feel like I'm missing one, but I think I got them all, and nope, I didn't. So Shane actually is probably going to be watching this tomorrow because he's from Japan, so. But he was asking on Patreon if his guitar, he's like, are my guitars the only ones that like totally go out of tune all the time in the winter? And you know what's really funny is just before we went live, I picked up my double cut Junior back here, and it was completely out of tune. I just played it like 3 days ago, and it broke a string.
That's weird.
It's really weird. I never break strings.
Yeah, you never break strings.
Ever. And what other guitar? I picked up something else too the other day. Oh, it was one of my it was my wooden acoustic guitar. I had
And
to
it was
actually.
out of tune.
Yeah, I had to, not really, but I strummed a chord and I was like, oh, it's not totally perfect, so I fixed a couple of notes. But I think your humidity in your house varies a lot more in the winter. When you're forced, like, especially, I don't know what the climate is where y'all are, but where we are, it could be 70 degrees during the day and then 30 degrees at night because of just the changing of the seasons and stuff. So, like, your furnace won't run. We have forced air, so that'll dry out the air. And the humidity will fall. So, we have forced air, and it might not run for 2 days because the temperature doesn't get that cold at night, and it will be like 65 degrees outside, and it will not run very much. And then over the weekend, it drops to 28 degrees at night and only gets up to 50, and the forced air runs a bunch. And then everything changes in the house. I mean, you can feel it in the air when the furnace is running. So you're probably, Shane, you're probably not the only one. I mean, I know you're not because I am too. The only one who experiences that kind of variance in the winter more than in the summer. Yeah, I think so.
You want to
Questions?
get into what people are sharing?
Yes, let's do it.
I think we need to be better about pausing in between subjects and letting people share their thoughts
Oh,
because
okay.
we get really out of context.
Okay. Well, maybe we will try our approach a little differently then. Kind of stop in between each section.
Yes.
Okay.
See, he just said one more thing. I don't know what the first thing was. I literally don't know. Robert Hastings said one more thing on the Smoothie Super 8. Maybe that was related
to
his
this
other
question. Okay.
They have the purple mesh, which looks great with the Jackson JS22 Monarch. Not too flashy, just enough sparkle and the hint of color. Well done. Thanks.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, remember I did the purple deal with his.
Edgar Cesario? I don't know. Dylan, all my guitars I have ever bought were because I thought they were cool, including a Parker Fly. Although I know you don't like them, I think you, to your point, you would respect my decision.
I think Parker Flies are really cool. I wouldn't own one myself because I don't feel they don't. I mean, if I had one of everything, I probably would have one. They're very cool. The engineering wise, Parker Flies were so far ahead of their time, and that's the reason why we don't see them anymore. Because they did all the things that guitar players hate, but should be getting used to by now. If somebody does something else very similar to the Parker Fly now, I mean, in that type of engineering, I bet it would do well. It had a carbon fiber laminated fretboard with stainless steel frets and all kinds of crazy stuff. It was very cool.
So I think a lot of comments came in regarding the title of the video. Rick the Explorer said, Schecter provides me utility. I need certain mods. Vintage is pricey.
Yeah, that makes sense because you don't want to mess with a vintage guitar.
Rusty Shackelford says, I think each guitar must be measured against itself. Generally, vintage will be worse than newer just because methods improve, but some are great, just like some new are total trash.
You know, you're onto something there, I think, because I wish everybody would do that. Let each guitar stand on its own. Don't worry about how it sounds in comparison to another one. Even a cheap guitar. If you go and buy a Harley Benton right now for $200, and you play that guitar and you go, you know, for $200, this thing ain't bad. That's probably all you need to know. It's not as good as a Les Paul, but that's okay. It's only $200. And so just let it stand on its own instead of trying to compare it with another instrument. All instruments like that. And, you know, this Swamp Ash Telly versus this Alder Telly. Who cares? If they sound different, let them sound different. Don't worry about why. Just know that you've got two different flavors. I think that's really important.
Super chat from Rick Nelson.
Dude, your sons, I loved their band.
You're so ridiculous.
Sorry.
Thanks
What's the
for
song?
super
Love and
chat.
Affection?
I don't know.
Yeah. They look really weird with short hair, though. Anyway, let's go.
Thank you for the super chat, Rick.
Thanks,
Sorry
Rick.
that he ruined your comment. How would you feel about a deep video lesson about capacitance? How to find and read the ranges for pickups, tone caps, cables, amps, etc. I see a lot of numbers and I don't know which to go by. Pico, nano, micro, thanks.
I actually have a video about that, but we could do it again. You see this?
I'm going to write something down.
This is a list that I have been making.
Very impressed. Very impressed. Haas says that's a cool idea. I'd nerd out on capacitance.
I got a new pen today, so I was writing a lot of stuff. All right.
Ready?
Yep, I'm good. I wrote it on my list.
Recline. Tone King Falcon Grand versus Tone King Imperial MK2 versus Mesa Boogie California Tweed.
The only amps that I have had a chance to play are the Tone King MK2, Imperial MK2, and the Mesa Boogie Tweed. And I like the Tone King better than the Mesa, but I have not had experience with the other Tone King that you talked about, the first one. So the second Tone King is my favorite of those three, but I have not played the first one.
John Dolan said, when are you going to do it? I think it got added to a list. So
It got added to a list.
Who knows?
Subscribe and hit the button.
Tweed Tone. I've played some dead sounding vintage guitars. I believe the best ones are mostly sold or in a private collection. Most custom shop guitars are good enough and mostly play better.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
Mr. Goat says his brain lacks capacitance. Oh, that was funny.
That is funny.
Rob F. said, and I thought perhaps Dylan broke down and purchased a vintage guitar. Should have known better.
I'm not saying I won't or wouldn't. I was actually shopping for a vintage guitar. I watched that dang Charlie Star video the other night, and he's all talking about that white SG Junior that he's got sent me going. I was like, reverb, reverb, reverb. I was like, I want a white SG Junior so bad. But $7,000, and I'm like, nope.
Let's see. Octopus Ear said Dylan applied for.
That's what it stands for.
Rusty Shackelford. Dylan, now that I've bought the coolest looking guitar I've ever seen, I wish I had bought those Damascus pickups to put in it.
Because he bought a Les Paul at the Gibson garage, I think.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
That's cool.
From Dylan.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Rusty again. He says, checking the live stream out for the first time in the Eastern time zone. How do you live with everything coming on so late? I mean, it's ridiculous how late everything comes on. And I think this, like, it's just normal to me, right? So, like, every time we go west, I'm like, wait, what?
I remember when I lived in Arizona and I had to get up at like 4 a.m. to watch the Tour de France or any kind of F1 or anything like that. Like anything in Europe especially was just so early.
That's funny.
I have like 90 days off with Formula One now.
Edgar Cesario, last actual question. Do you think Gibson will have a Gibson version of the Kirk Hammett 1979 Flying V electric guitar, purple metallic?
I think that, okay, so I am fairly certain that their business model right now, and I really like this. I think this is a fantastic way to do it. You come out with the really expensive custom shop one that's 20 grand, right? Then you come out with the regular signature one, which would be 3,200, which is right in line with the normal guitar. Then you come out with a, depending on if they do it Epiphone and Gibson Custom Shop or they do it Epiphone, then you have the $1,200 to $1,500 Epiphone version. So I really like that idea. And what they do is they use the expensive guitars to gauge interest and do the R&D for the cheaper guitars. That's how you would kind of cost that out. And I think by the time you get to the volume one, which is the $3,200 one and the vintage one, well, I guess there would be an $8,000 custom shop one in there too. So you maybe add 4 different models. I think that'd be really cool. I hope they do with a lot of those models that they're doing. I hope they do.
Windsurf Maui didn't receive notice from YouTube that the podcast was happening tonight. Always used to get a notice, just an FYI.
Make sure you are still subscribed and make sure that you have hit the notification button, because sometimes that undoes itself for unknown reasons.
Oh, like Facebook groups used to do?
Yeah.
Or maybe still does. Sir Sneaker Pimp. Tim Pierce stated a few months back that he doesn't chase vintage anymore. He absolutely loves the new tech and craftsmanship of new guitars, and that he can get the tones he loves with new kit.
That's what I think too. I mean, that's why Dylan Pickups is the modern vintage, because I believe that we can get great tone from modern materials. And I am 100% in on the fact that new guitars are better than old guitars. Manufacturing processes are more consistent. Everything is better. We would not develop technology if it didn't make it better. And I know on the electronic side, like the digital side, there's a learning curve that's taking 10 or 15 years to get everything where it needs to be. But when it comes to the instruments themselves, yeah, everything's way better.
So Rick Nelson replied. He said, "I've heard about Ricky Nelson my whole life. Thanks for the info, DNL, and thanks for the support, friends. I really dig the nerd stuff too. Just found the Facebook Insider, so I'll be watching you all."
Excellent. Thanks, man.
Fretless Ed said, "I'm scared to touch vintage guitars in the shop once they get to good used car level prices."
Yeah, that's what happens.
That's pretty funny.
Yep.
Ada, "Dear Dylan, am I crazy to love ceramic pickups instead of Alnico? Alnico never cuts off in the mix. Ceramic is classified as cheap, low dynamics. In my opinion, they have more dynamics."
That is a myth, and they actually do have very good dynamics, and they have very good bottom end. You just have to know how to wind them properly. Our 8-ball pickup, which is a ceramic pick, we make one ceramic humbucker, and it is fantastic. And actually, we make, well, we're not making them right now, but we do make all of our little like Strat size and Tele size P90s, which we're not making right now because of parts problems, but if I can get them back on the market, we will. Those are all ceramic magnets too, and they sound fantastic. That's a complete myth. The reason that's a myth is because an Alnico magnet costs about 5 times as much as a ceramic magnet, and so that's why cheap guitars get ceramic magnets. But that does not mean that they are not acceptable technology to give you good tone.
So this question person has me wondering. So the name is NYC Geology.
Okay.
And we know a geologist in New York, but I don't know that it's the same person.
Okay. Yeah.
Got my hands on a sweet deal on a Core 2000 McCarty, and I'm loving it. I sold both my Les Paul and my Strat once I was sure the honeymoon period was over. What are your thoughts on Core models?
I don't have one of those. I have a Fiore and a Silver Sky, and those are both cores. But I do not have a regular PRS core, and I want one. It's on my list to do, and I think everybody people have a preconceived idea about Paul Reed Smith guitars because they're so good that they're sterile and that they're whatever, but they have a sound. They have a thing and they do a thing that other guitars don't do. And I think that they should be added to the list. You should have a good Tele, a good Strat, a good Les Paul, a good SG, a good 335, and a good PRS.
Rick the Explorer says, that shirt is beautiful.
It's awesome, right? It's a Warrior Camo Company.
Van Shank Guitar says, some douche tried to copy my Facebook profile pics and sent a bunch of friend requests. I didn't get one. I must not be special enough. I always think that when people are like, I got hacked. I'm like, they didn't want to be friends with me. I never get those friend requests. Curtis Chavez, how much would I miss by using a DTT Enduro in the bridge of my EG 112 versus a standard shape P90?
Well, they wouldn't fit. So you're kind of stuck. Because those aren't interchangeable parts.
Haas said, what shirt?
Exactly.
Sean McCartney, just getting here. What did we decide? Are they good or bad? LOL. Vintage guitars.
Yeah.
All right. Andreas Joklich. I probably really messed that up. I apologize. Not all vintage guitars sound good, including original 59 Les Pauls. Vintage guitars are hit or miss.
It's true. Because they weren't built as well. Or as consistently.
This rolling thing still gets on my nerves. Super chat from Joey Dano Guitars. Thank you for the super chat. He says, I have a 10 top for you, Dylan. What does that mean?
It's a very nice PRS. He probably doesn't want it. You know who that is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It just hit me. I was like, why does that sound so familiar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for the super chat. I would love to have that guitar, but I don't know that I can afford it. I have a new guitar coming tomorrow that I'm very excited about. Nobody knows what it is, though. And I'm keeping it that way until it comes tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. See, confirmed. Doc
Yeah.
is asking if he's coming to the May class. Yeah. I know who it is now.
Yep.
Let's see.
Hello. Somebody said. So I'm saying it back.
Fox and Hound. Fox. How do you say that? I know I'm saying it wrong.
Fox and Hound?
It's like Fawkes.
Oh, I don't know.
Rude. Rusty Shackelford. Ben Eller explained jazz. You just start on a good note and end on a good note, and nothing in between matters.
That's it. That's what John Bollinger says.
Is it?
He said you're always a half a step away from the right note. So just keep sliding. Like if you're on the wrong note, just keep sliding and make it sound like it was on purpose.
I think I just read a comment from him. Rusty Shackelford. Joe Bonamassa said he doesn't collect vintage guitars because they're better, but because it's what his heroes played.
Yeah, and I think the story of old guitars is very cool. And if I could own but they're not very useful. They're not as useful as the stuff that I own. So, I just bought, for example, a Frank Beltram stiletto made in Italy. It's a vintage knife. It's not new. And it's useless. You cannot use it for anything except for being a gangster, and I am not a gangster. But it was also not expensive. And so if you could collect things for the purpose of being vintage and being cool and like understanding the story, like that knife was banned in the United States until 1986. That's really cool. Like and the whole story that goes with those knives is really, really neat. So if you can afford to do that for the purpose of collecting it and the history, it totally makes sense. And I would totally do it. But it's a completely... that knife didn't cost near what a dang 63 Telly costs. You know what I mean? So it's hard to justify it if I'm just doing it because it's cool. Or, because it's...
I need
you know what I mean.
take a picture of that piece of paper and send it to Courtney. I'm going to tell her.
Well, I was practicing my signature.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I got a new pen, so I was comparing a bunch of pens today.
Did you change your signature, though? Because that's what she told me you did.
No.
I was going to ask you something. I forgot. Oh, also, the stories and the knife. Like, you've bought a lot of knives. And
Yeah.
my dad has seen a lot of knives. But he didn't connect with it until you had that one with a story.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that one didn't have a story. He had a story for your knife.
Yeah, he was like, I remember back in high school, one of my friends had one of those in his car, and they were illegal. Like, he was telling us this whole thing.
In his Trans Am.
In his Trans Am.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Probably back when your dad had a perm.
No, I think that was...
That was later?
I don't think he had a perm until he got married.
Oh, okay. But I'm just saying, that's, a story is cool. And if the guitar has a story, I posted those pictures of those cut up Les Paul and that cut up Telly. And, everybody's like, that's an abomination. You're hurting my eyes, blah, blah, blah. Well, that story of that cut up Les Paul, to me, is more interesting than just buying some old vintage guitar. I would rather have that one. That's a 59 Les Paul. And there was some jazz player, I think in New York somewhere, who was on tour. I can't remember who it was. Who was on tour, had a gig. Either his guitar got broken or baggage lost it or something. For some reason, he did not have his guitar. And he had a big gig that night. And so he sent and he's left-handed, and he sent his tech to the store and said, buy me whatever they have and make it work. And so it's a cut up Les Paul. But it was like a 3-year-old guitar. It did not matter. And he just did it.
Curtis Chavez says, I watched a video where Victor Wooten proved that correct notes are not as important as keeping a solid groove. Man, that was eye-opening.
I watched that video. It might not have been the same video.
Styrene builds. It's not vintage unless you're running knob and tube. What does that mean? What's knob and tube mean? It's not vintage unless you're running knob and tube.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, I don't know.
Somebody said I should call my 10th anniversary pickups DILFs.
Why?
I don't know. Sorry.
Aussie English. Hey Dylan, what sound differences would you expect if you rewound vintage pickups?
We can usually get them pretty close. I don't do them anymore. But the magnets, so here's an excellent thing. The age of the magnets, in my opinion, is the part that can't be duplicated. We can duplicate the winding part pretty easy, or get it pretty close. But the age of the magnets is the thing that's hard to duplicate. So if you have an old single coil pickup and you do rewind it, you can get it pretty close. It will probably still be a little different because the materials are different and stuff, but it's pretty close. Now, if you had to replace magnets, then it would be different. I believe, in the experience that I've had with rewind and stuff, that the magnets are the most important thing. But usually they survive. Usually it's the wire that breaks.
We need to be faster. Raphael B. Would you do custom colors on humbuckers like blue or red? I'm considering something like that for an old Kramer.
I'm working on it.
Doc Silton has said the differences between similar guitars are like different personalities between siblings. The differences are why we love having so many guitars in the first place.
That's what I think. That's what annoys me about everybody wants everything to sound like something else.
Mr. Goat said, yes, please bring back T90s when you can.
I'm working on it.
Patrick Hardy, do you know anyone who has a video for your Firebird pickups? Do you have a video?
Yeah. No, I don't.
Shiznit, how old is vintage?
That's a good question.
Doc Siltonen, do you have to decrease wire size and gauge 42 to 43, 44 when winding for ceramic pickups to avoid the ice pick high end frequencies?
That's what cheap guitar pickups are. But no, I do not.
John Tolan, what do you think of a P90 on a telly?
Love it.
Matthew Altamere, with the whole greenie craze, aside from the physical wiring, why does out of phase actually sound differently?
It's the magnets flipped. And so out of phase, basically what happens is you get both, the frequencies are crashing into each other and canceling each other out in that mid-range. So that's why it scoops it all out and sounds like that.
What? We haven't seen this in a long time.
What?
Hang on, I have to scroll and get there. Oh, where did it go? Oh, I'm going to put it on the screen. Jim Cox gifted 5 Dylan Talks Tone memberships.
Wow. Thanks, Jim.
And I don't know if he picks the people or if it like automatically assigns, but it's like showing El Duderino, Alan Pettibone, Ryan White, Rusty Fenders, Shane Walton.
Thanks. Thank you, Jim.
That's really cool. I feel like we saw that like a long time ago
Yeah.
one time, but I don't remember.
Wow, that's really awesome. Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Bryant McGallion, have you heard about Burley Guitars? It's a small builder out of Austin. I think they are mainly parts casters, but they are just cool. Each is unique, and he has an incredible sense of style.
I do. I have seen those, and they are neat. I follow him on Instagram.
Oh, Jim Cox says it's automatic, and Van Shank says it's random. Maybe
Yeah,
Ivan was the one who did it
the last
before.
one that
Yeah,
did it.
it's
Yeah.
random.
Thank you.
Automatic and random. That's really neat, though. I wonder if they have to be online.
I don't know, but
Surely so.
now for those of you who just became members by gift, just know that next week when we put up our post on Thursday morning, keep an eye out for it so that you can ask a question and have it on the screen ahead of time, and you don't have to worry about going through all this.
All this.
Well, you know, like you make sure you get it in.
All right, last one. Aussie English. Bought a black top baritone, made in Mexico Fender Telecaster, hum single. Heard the pickups are awful. What type of pickups would you put into it and why?
We have.
Prog rock style music.
Oh, dude. Okay, so we have our Hot 5 Strat pickups. Get 2 of those. Just order them as a set, and I'll make sure that they're wound correctly. 2 of our Hot 5s and our Super 8, which is our DAF with an Alnico 8 humbucker that goes in the bridge position. That is the jam for not metal, but higher output than a normal vintage Strat. And the black top idea and prog, you would love it. It will be awesome. I know that there's people in the comments that have that combo, so speak up if you have it, dude. That's my favorite pickup combination for a single hum guitar.
So who gets discount on pickups? That's just Patreon, right?
No, they do on YouTube too.
Okay, so that's what Hogman Hawk said. Does that mean they get discount on pickups?
They do.
So there you go. They also get a discount. And Jim Cox says they don't have to be online. And if you didn't get selected, make sure to go to the join button, gift settings, and check the box to allow gift memberships. Might need to use a PC for this. That's really neat.
Awesome. Yeah. So the other thing you get when you're a $5, it's $5 if you buy it for yourself or you keep it going, is you get 10% off all of our pickups. So, I mean, it would that would save you $28 on a set of humbuckers. On a single hum set, if you're a YouTube member or a Patreon member, it would save you like $35, $34.
Oh, NYC Geology said, I'd love to have kept the Strat and Les Paul, but I live with my fiance and was starting to use too much of our extra space. I don't want to be a bad roommate. So it's not.
It's not who we thought
who
it
we
was.
thought it was. Confirmed. He probably already knew he wasn't who we thought he was, but
Yes.
I didn't know. All right.
Cool.
It's that time.
It is that time. So it is after hours, which means this is off topic only. If you have a guitar question after 9 o'clock, you have to use a super chat. If you ask a guitar question after 9 o'clock, we will not answer it. You can ask any question you want, not to do with guitars, and we will probably answer it. I don't think we've ever turned one down yet.
That's not a challenge, by the way.
Yeah, it's not a challenge. We do this to get to know everybody. We've gotten to know everybody pretty well by doing this, and it's a lot of fun. And it's just a way for us to connect with y'all a little bit since we don't get to see you in person, to just hang out and talk about off-topic stuff for a little while.
So Joey Dano Guitars said he's not going to the May class because he's going to be in South Carolina. So I wonder if we get to see Joey Dano Guitars when he comes to
maybe
South Carolina.
Yeah, that's cool. So off-topic questions. Hit us.
Off-topic question. So first, whose question was that I laughed at?
Oh, the
Because I feel bad. Like, I did laugh.
Mr. Goat?
Was it Mr. Goat?
It might have been.
Anyway, okay, so I laughed at somebody's question because it included the words "as far as." And that is because, people that speak, it typically happens in like businessy kind of things. Like there's crutch words, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that is a common phrase, crutch word, for lack of a better way to say that.
That we hear a lot.
That we hear a lot. Like, we'll literally start texting each other and count, like, how many are there going to be? And I just think it's like instead of saying, like if somebody's pause, that they don't know how to pause and they're just like filling the space, or they just don't know what they're going to say and they're making it up as they go. But
So
anyway,
they say as far as. A bunch.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Do you like that? As far as, doing after hours,
And
what do you think about?
So if this person I'm thinking of, if he speaks for a minute, he'll probably say it 3-4 times.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot.
It's very distracting. So when I heard it come out of it wasn't that you used it in your question. It was like I heard it come out of my mouth and I was like, no.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. Anyway, so it was nothing personal. I wanted to say that. I wanted to clarify it. All right. Mr. Goat says, off topic, are you list people?
I am.
I am, yeah. I didn't know if you would say you were or not.
Yeah, this is...
I mean, mine will be digital, and his is literal.
Mine is always... You see all the pages ripped out. I make a list every morning.
That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I make a list every morning, and I have a legal pad, and I do it, and I have a pen in my pocket, and... Yep. And I don't do it on... I've tried to do it on the phone, so if there's stuff like... away from here, but I mean, I carry a backpack and stuff, and I just take paper with me. I don't know. It helps me to write it.
Aussie English says, do y'all Americans, and then he made like a sticking out tongue emoji, get the quote, that's not a knife, this is a knife. 10 points if you can tell me the film it comes from.
Yeah. It's the Crocodile Dundee guy.
David Weinrich. F1 predictions for next year.
Red Bull's going to be fine. Mercedes is going to be better. Ferrari is going to probably be about where they are. McLaren is going to be way good. I bet Aston Martin is going to be good. I hope AlphaTauri, or whatever they're going to be called next year, is going to be better. And I really hope everybody below them is going to be better. And I really hope Williams is going to be better. I would like to see Williams come back up. That's what I would like to see.
Charles Davis says, hello, Leslie and Dylan. How many hats do you own?
Not as many as I used to. Probably 15 or something.
Really?
Yeah. There's a bunch in there.
More than 15.
I don't know. I don't count stuff that I collect. It just feels too...
Accountable?
Yeah. I don't really collect them anymore. I have a bunch of Yankee caps because I have like all of the World Series that I've been to and all the World Series that they won that I didn't go to. And some stuff like that. I have, but I don't really collect them anymore. But people give them to me too. We get stuff all the time, Whenever we travel and we go to a guitar store or something, they'll give me a hat. So I have a lot of hats.
Joey Dano Guitar says, are you guys near Grovetown? We can be anywhere in the CSRA.
We can be anywhere.
Fretless Ed says, up talk at the end of every sentence bothers me.
Oof. Yeah.
Haas says, lists are fun. Big G Custom says, hi from Cali. What other interests do you guys have besides guitar stuff?
Do we have the time? Well, I'll tell you.
You must be new here.
You must be new here. I'll tell you one. Well, weapons of any kind, really. I enjoy firearms because but I actually like to shoot them. I'm not like a weird stock them up in a bunker in the backyard kind of guy, but I actually like to go to the range regularly, which I will be going tomorrow. And I like knives and anything to do with battle anything because I think it's neat, as well as survival-y kind of looking stuff. I got a new one. This is not a knife, but I'll bring it up because this has come up a couple times this week, because last week I said I didn't get any tomahawks, or maybe the week before. I said I've never had a tomahawk from my two favorite companies. And so I ordered a tomahawk. And we were talking about useless guitars and useless stuff. Like, should you just get something because it's cool versus should have a use? This has zero use whatsoever because it is literally a battle tomahawk. This is not for splitting wood. It's literally like a knife edge. And this is a knife edge, and this is a knife edge. It's really cool, though. This is a half-face blades crescent hawk is what it's called. And so this is my newest. Well, actually, this isn't my newest edition because I got a switchblade. But yeah, this looks pretty neat.
Let's see. So this made me laugh. Carlos Duarte says, I've just got onto the live while it's shaving time. I work at home, but tomorrow we've got to go to the office. So yeah, grooming time. Curtis Chavez says, I like as far as way better than you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Sir Sneaker Pimp said, I would love to see Williams back in the top 5.
Yep.
Timothy Potter said, moving forward. Another one is circle back. Can we circle back?
Did you see, I think it was Matthew Kaz the other day.
Yeah.
He posted we are officially into let's circle back after the holidays season.
It's true. It is so true. It's not funny. It's terrible.
Like
I roll my eyes all day at work.
I'm glad that I do not have to live in that world.
Yeah. Yeah, I said that in my meeting with my boss today. December shouldn't even exist. Like, there's no point to December.
I need it to exist.
I
Please
know,
buy
but
some pickups.
it's just like crazy. Like, everybody is on different vacations, and people are like, I don't know.
I'm worried that we're going to be
The sales team
slow.
doesn't get to be like that because
because it's end of year.
year.
Yeah.
But anyway, Tom Feidler says drop point or sheep's foot for daily.
Oh, drop point. I do not like sheep's foot blades.
Mr. Goat said not a bunker guy so far.
I don't really have a place.
I want a bunker, but not for the same reason people want a bunker.
Why do you want one?
I don't know, like in case we had a tornado or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I never understood why we don't have, like, basements or cellars here or something.
Because we have tornadoes.
Yeah.
And hurricanes and nuclear plants.
Yes. I need a bunker.
Yeah.
IBJI. Favorite non-guitar or music-related YouTube channels?
Ooh. Favorite? Most watched? Could be different. I watch a lot of car stuff because that's what my real, like, guitars are cool. As much as you all see me liking guitars, anything that can be raced is far above that. I love motorsports. So, I watch every Cletus McFarland video. I watch every 1320 video because I love racing. I watch every Steve Morris Racing Engines. I watch a lot of car reviews and stuff, although I've kind of tapered off the car review thing because I really like what I have right now, and so I have no reason to want to shop, and I don't want to get a reason to want to shop, so I don't really...
These people are killing me.
I don't really do that.
Steve Rezer said, can you circle back if you don't put a pin in it first?
Oh, that's true.
Haas says, I have a bunker, but it's mostly consists of couch cushions.
That's pretty awesome. So that's a kid's fort. That's a fort. That's not a bunker.
Haas Seek English says, are you a whiskey guy, Dylan? You seem like you'd be into it. If so, what's your fave dram?
So I am a Scotch person, and I like a lot of bourbons. My favorite is tough to say, but what I like to have around all the time is a peaty Scotch. So I'll have like a Lafroig or an Oban or a Talisker just to have around to drink once in a while. On the bourbon side, it'll usually be like Jefferson's Ocean or Blanton's or something like that, I guess. So yeah, that's the way I like to go. I don't like overly sweet stuff, and I like more peaty stuff if I can help it.
Doc Siltonen, do you think we'll see a female driver on an F1 team next year? Third driver or on the grid?
I don't know. I don't know about that yet. I don't know. It depends on how fast F2 gets and how fast Formula E gets. There is a physical component to driving a Formula One car that is, I'm sure that there's somebody strong enough to do it. But they talk about, like, for example, the brake pedal pressure being 400 pounds or something, which I'm sure there's lots of women that can leg press 400 pounds, but are they a good race car driver too? So all of those things converging, the talent, the strength, the physical fitness, all converging into one female that makes it to the grid. I don't know. I believe it will happen at some point, but I don't know if it'll be next year.
Hawkman Hawks says, I should have named one of my kids Tom with the middle initial A. You okay? That was funny. You totally had
That's pretty
dad laugh there.
That's pretty good.
Rick Nelson said, Dylan and Leslie, do you guys know about Shiv Works blades? I have several, and my favorite is the Clinch Pick 2.0. I really dig the reverse edge blade since I train jujitsu. They're ideal for grapplers.
So I do not do any combat sports. And so I don't know those things. Oh yeah, I have seen these. But I do not, oh, that's cool. Hang on. I'm just saving a favorite here. That clinch pick is sick. And so is the Disciple.
Paul McNary said,
Oof.
Jessica Hawkins tested an Aston Martin in September.
Yes, I did. I do remember that.
Oh, this is a great question. Mr. Goat, does it gross you out having supper with carnivorous folk?
Nope, don't care.
Yeah, don't care.
Nope.
It's a common question we get when we go eat with people for the first time. They're like, is it going to bother you if I'm... And I always joke, and I'm like, I don't care what you put in your body. I'm just not going to put it in mine.
Mm-hmm.
So no, it doesn't gross us out.
Nope, don't care.
You can eat whatever you want.
Yep. Just close your mouth when you chew.
Oh, amen. And don't be rude to the waitstaff and tip.
Yep. If you do those 3 things, I'll eat with you. If you fail on any one of those things, I will not eat with you.
Yes.
Chew with your mouth closed. And breathe through your freaking nose. If you can help it.
Any more pet peeves you need to get out, babe?
No, but those are the main ones.
Oh. Sir Sneaker Pimp, what do you think of Mark Marquez's MotoGP outing with his new team?
I have not been paying attention enough to know. And I feel bad about that. I was actually thinking about that yesterday because something flashed across one of my feeds and I was like, dang it, I need to pay better attention. So here's the problem with the motorcycle stuff. Because in a former life, well, it was this life just earlier,
Unless he's dead. He's dead.
Who? No.
Your former self.
Oh, my former self is, yeah. I am so passionate about motorcycles beyond all else. I would give up everything I do now and have and everything except for her and my kids to do that stuff again. And so it's really hard for me. If I watch motorcycle racing, I emotionally almost can't handle it. Like I need to go buy a motorcycle right now. I've been in motorcycle stores literally like I have to buy a motorcycle right now so many times, and it's just not really a good idea for me. It will happen at some point, but not right now. So honestly, it's almost like an addiction management situation that I don't pay attention a lot to motorcycle racing because it is such a big part of me. And I can't have it be a big part of me right now. So yeah, it's a tough one. That's a really tough one for me.
Curtis Chavez, I guess he's asking the group, how many here have the Gerber knife that's supposed to be very handy for guitar players? I forgot the model name.
We call it the gay little knife. It's I have one. It is amazing. It's really good. You should get it. It's the little pry. It's got a pry bar on one side. It's got a little lanyard, and an X-Acto knife. Great knife. $23 or something. I do not have a link in the description, but Matt does. And it's a really good knife. Super handy.
Matthew Altamere. Will you trust e-vehicle motorsports as much as you trust in e-firearms?
E-firearms? I didn't know there was such a thing. I don't care about electric stuff right now. I'm not. I was looking for a meme today that said, with like the little blue flag, like when you're in a hurricane or whatever, and it's like I survived the.
Yes.
I was gonna be like I survived the, not buying a Tesla truck.
That's funny.
Because everybody, like, I was gonna put a discount. I was gonna put a deposit on one when they were doing it.
Were you?
Yeah, but I'm glad I didn't, because I don't want it. Like, I have no desire to own that thing. It is stupid looking. And they said it was going to be 500 miles. It's 320, like a normal truck. They said it was going to be $70,000. It's 100. Mm-hmm. So, like, no.
Tom Feidler says, need a K1600 GA to ride around on. Haas says, my brother works in insurance and could send you some pics to fix that motorcycle itch. He has titanium.
Oh, I have enough titanium in me to fix all of that.
We know what the dangers are.
Yeah, we do.
Dean McCaskill says, Tom Feidler says, what is an e-firearm? I think we all want to know that.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Dean McCaskill said, favorite city or campground when you guys were on the road?
Ooh, that's hard. Favorite RV park, though, might be easier. Sevierville, Tennessee is pretty cool.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. We only stayed there one time, but I thought it was really nice. The one in Wisconsin that was on a lake.
I was about to say that. In La Crosse. The one where we got new tires on the Jeep and we went to McPherson.
Yeah, and we got really good drone shots there. And we would walk around and
It was in La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Yeah. I like that place. I mean, like, I was just trying to think, and I don't know.
It's funny because that jumped right into my head too.
It was pretty.
And the weather was perfect, and it was really nice.
Yeah.
That's so funny that
I feel like there's some places we've gone more than once that because we liked it. I don't know.
Honestly, the KOA outside of Denver is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because it's
both of them actually.
Both of the KOAs on either end of Denver, but the one on the west side of Denver is really neat because it's super high in the mountains, and you pull your motorhome in head first instead of back it in, so that you can look out the windshield over a whole valley and the mountain view and stuff. That's pretty cool. Honestly, the one we stayed in Crossville, Tennessee, was really nice.
Mm-hmm. I also liked, it wasn't a nice area, like the drive there, but it was super secluded when we got there. I really liked when we stayed on the Mississippi River. That was way early in the journey.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
It was a weird place, but it was the campground itself and being able to walk down to the river and watch the...
That was outside of Memphis. Yep. Favorite city is hard because we've been so many places.
Yeah, and it's hard because, like...
There's little things I like about a lot of places.
Yeah, and then there's places you go a lot. Like, we go to Denver a lot. And Denver has really good food. Like...
Yeah. I love Denver.
Yeah.
We like Denver a lot. If it wasn't so expensive, I would consider that place. But it's just too expensive to live there. I'm trying to think of what else.
I don't know that I have a favorite city.
I don't really either, because I don't know. We've done so many cool things and gone so many places that I don't really have a favorite.
Yeah.
I love Flagstaff, Arizona, but you don't like the desert as much.
We haven't been there in years.
No, we should try that again. I used to live there though, so anyway.
And Dean McCaskill said, "Oh, and I got my awesome pick guard. Thanks." Let's see. Oh, Matthew Altamere said it was more of a joke. Firearms. Everything has to be a E these days.
Oh, yeah. No, that's true.
Oh, Doc Stilton said the little gay knife is the Gerber Prybrid X.
Thank you.
I think somebody told me. Oh, Doc said that earlier, but I didn't know what he was talking about. I thought he was talking about. So you see Prybrid X, and I thought it was some kind of Tesla joke. And then he was like, the little gay knife. That's what he got my attention with. That's funny. Haha. Haas says, but Colorado tops everything by a mile.
It does. I love Colorado. I love Utah. Yeah. There's a lot of neat places. South Dakota was amazing. Love South Dakota.
Ohio, of all places.
Oh, yeah. Ohio was pretty awesome.
I was like,
which is
why?
weird.
Why?
Yeah. Hey, Cleveland.
I mean, I like anything around Lake Michigan,
Yeah.
especially Door County.
Door County, Wisconsin. Speaking of people that have annoying voices.
Yeah, I guess I don't like all of Lake Michigan. I like the Door County area, and I like the Empire Beach.
On the
Bear,
east side of
whatever.
that
What's
same...
the Bear thing up there?
Yeah.
That's north of Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Doc said he just bought 4 of them today, so maybe that's why it was on his mind.
Oh.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's one of those that they're cheap enough. You buy a bunch of them and just throw them when you get home, and so that way there's one laying whenever you need it, because they are really cool.
What else? What else you got? What have we done? Have we done anything since we last saw anybody?
We went to the play
Oh, yeah.
on Tuesday, it was a kid's play, but her sister was in it, and they were really, first of all, your sister had a way bigger role in the thing than we thought.
Yeah.
And she was really good at it. Second of all, the play was actually really well done, even though it was a little kid play. It was fun to go. And
Yeah,
there was alcohol.
And it's in a theater that has been renovated here.
Super historic place, yeah.
So it's nice when you get to go places like that.
Yep. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Because we have a couple of old theaters here. Normally they would have been at the other one. I was surprised they were at the bigger one.
Yeah, other than that, we've just been working.
Sleeping Bear Dunes. Thanks, Doc.
Yep. That's
yes,
what it
that is exact. He asked it as a question, but that's exactly what it is. I couldn't remember.
Sleeping Bear Dunes. Yep. Cool.
I don't know what Tom Feidler's asking. Anyone running 5.7 with a can in the chat? And if so, what can? I'm trying to find one for a Ruger 5.7.
Oh. I have zero experience with the Ruger 5.7, or actually with the 5.7 round at all. And I do not have any cans. I want to get one for my Shadow Systems, but I don't have... I haven't done it. I put the Shadow Systems comp on my Shadow Systems, and it's amazing, but it just makes it really long. So I might take it off, because that gun doesn't really need a comp anyways, but I wanted to try it, so I got it.
Carlos Duarte says, what are the plans for Christmas? Work.
We don't really have any.
We're just going to work.
Yeah.
Because we have a busy start to 2024.
Yeah, 2024 is going to be a bit nuts for us, at least the first 6 months. is gonna be 6 months.
Yes.
So we have a lot of crazy stuff going. Hopefully you're gonna see the results of it with the business. But we are very busy anyway right now. Like November was bonkers, work wise. So I hope December is good. December usually slows down though because there's like you lose a week automatically. So, but I'm sure it'll be fine. And then January, yeah, we're gonna just start. It's gonna start getting crazy. With various stuff, a lot of family stuff. We have a lot of not Dylan Talks Tone YouTube related things that will be happening away from the channel, but very involved. It will affect it. You'll see, but it will. We just have a lot of stuff going. So on the personal side, it's all good, but just a lot. We'll fill you in when we have more details to fill you in.
Yeah. The only one we could share now is our son gets married.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
we have to be ready for that.
Yep. And that's the beginning of February, right? Mm-hmm. So, yep. And I'm actually marrying them. So, yeah. I still have to find something to wear. So that'll be fun. Anyway, are we winding down already?
Mm-hmm. I mean, Curtis Chavez asked, I feel like that's a question more for the group too. I want a 22 lever action or semi-auto. Options?
Depends how much money you want to spend. I really want to get a Henry just because they're cool and they, are historic. But if you didn't want to spend a lot of money, you just get one of them like Savage Arms or something. Those are cheap. And, 22s are kind of meant to be cheap anyway. I want a bolt. I want a long-range bolt gun, but the problem is we don't have anywhere to shoot it. I want it because it's cool and I want to get good at it. But the longest range I have is 200 yards, so it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I shoot my AR at 200 yards or my G3 at 200 yards, and it's too short, so.
Curtis Chavez says tactical suit.
So I was literally going to buy the tactical kilt from 511 and wear that, but I decided not to wear a kilt. Yeah, like a John Wick suit.
I don't know what that means.
No, I'm going to wear something purple and crazy. It's going to be fun. It's actually going to be a really fun wedding, I think. Because they're young and they want to do something cool and non-traditional, and that sounds amazing to me. So, I mean, I'm marrying them, so it's already going to be non-traditional. Marriage. I'm just kidding.
I can't even lose it.
Oh. She would lose it.
It's going to be all she can do to keep it together anyway.
Anyways, yeah. Well, thanks, guys. This has been fun. And if you're new, hopefully we see you next week. And, yeah, it's been great.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Doc Silton said the tactical kilt is all sold out. I went to buy one for the band.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Oh, that's great.
All right, you guys. Thanks for hanging out. We will see you. Probably have an unboxing video to do tomorrow, so I'll probably see you tomorrow.